is all about chemistry. Isn't something you go off to school to learn. Isn't math or ancient history. It's the kind of thing that comes down to simple terms. It's not about you. It's not about me. Love is all about we. Yes, it's all about we. With a string you can tie a knot, but you gotta have something to tie it to. Otherwise all you've got is a knot. When it ties me to you, it's a whole other thing. 'Cause love is all about we. Yes, love is all about we. Love is not about young or old. Touches everybody in a special way. It's a blanket when the nights are cold. It can even keep you dry on a rainy day. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's all about we. Yes, it's all about we. With a string you can tie a knot, but you gotta have something to tie it to. Otherwise all you've got is a knot. And when it ties me to you, that's a whole nother thing. 'Cause love is all about we. Yeah, love is all about we. Love is all about we. Hi guys, welcome to Bella's Bargains. My name is Amy. Okay, has anybody ever heard that song? I absolutely love that song, and I'm going to tell you right now, it was done by Neil Diamond and Marsha. Marsha, you asked to hear some Neil Diamond. You've asked, and I think that's the second time I've sung Neil Diamond for you, but I got to tell you, the reason I sang that is because right now I am here because I'm doing a video for the Twine It Up challenge, and so I was like, it's a song about love is not, wait, how does it go now? See, I've already forgotten it. I just sang it 2 seconds ago. But it's, with a string you can tie a knot. And so, since it's a Twine Up challenge, I was like, we have to sing that song. Anyway, I love this. Like, such a cute song by Neil Diamond. With a string you can tie a knot, but you gotta have something to tie it to. Otherwise, all you've got is a knot. And I've got some knots for you. All right, so this is the Twine It Up challenge, and it is brought to us by Creations by Favi and Simple Yet Chic. So their channels are linked down below. Favi's very talented. Man, I've seen some of her twine things that she's done. So I'm not going to compare in any way, shape, or form, but I'm super happy to be doing this. And I'm not sure I followed the rules 100%. I'm not sure because I did use nautical rope for one of them. But technically, nautical rope is just a bunch of twine. So I think that counts. We're going to go with it counts. All right, for you that are new to this channel and you're watching this because you're following the playlist, I said it before, but this is Bella's Bargains, and my name is Amy. Now, what you need to know about this channel is that everything is Dollar Tree, and I mean Dollar Tree. Like, right down to the supplies that I use for the crafts that I do. And I do upscales, crafts, DIYs, food reviews, and shopping hauls, and it's all Dollar Tree. And do you want to know why? Because everything at the Dollar Tree is $1, people, $1. So, and I really can't take on any more addictions. I can only have one store that I'm addicted to, because if I was doing hauls from all these other places, oh my gosh, yeah, it wouldn't work. So we just stick with the Dollar Tree. And also, I really like the hunt. I think it's a lot of fun because like I want to find something and then I go hunting for it at Dollar Tree. I like it. Anyway, so there's that. And if you want to know about the uploads that I do every week, all you got to do is click down below, and it's going to tell you about the 4 uploads that I do every week, sometimes 5. I do have Wild Wednesdays, so every once in a while, it's like a wild card comes out there. Here's another video for you. Bam. Anyway, but this is an extra video today, actually, because I'm just doing it for the challenge. So let me show you what I've made for this challenge, and I hope you guys like it. So the first one I'm going to show you is, see, now this is nautical rope, but it's a nautical rope garland. And I think it's so cool. I mean, I'm going to put this in my house. So if you follow it on the video, this is, I go like single and then double. See how much thicker that is? Single, double, double. This is just really cool and decorative. So it's super simple. It's just tedious. And I just used one thing of rope, and this is probably about 3 feet long. Okay, so they're 9 feet long, so it takes however long you want it. If you wanted 6 feet, you're gonna, for every 3 feet, I'm not making sense, am I? Yes, I am. For every 3 feet, it took me one thing of twine. All right, that's all you need to know. So you figure it out that way. 3 feet and then one thing of twine. So for every 3 feet that you would like a garland, then do one thing of twine. Anyway, I only did one. I didn't want a super long one here in my home where I'm putting it. And so anyway, I think it's just really cool. So that was my first one. It's kind of like macrame, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is just a friendship bracelet knot. And so when you take something small and you put it on something larger, it just looks cooler, larger. Actually, I'm going to wear it like a friendship bracelet. You know, it's not bad. Oh my gosh, I should make some twine jewelry. That's super cool. Or a belt, you guys. This would be a super cool, it won't go around my waist. I'd have to have two, I would have literally need to have used 2 things. But it would be a super cool belt also because you can loop it through. You could take this side and loop it through, see? And you'd have a belt. Okay, anyway, enough about that one. Let's go to the next one. So the next one I did, I think you're gonna be shocked. Well, maybe not. My guy thought it was arrows. He's like, are those arrows? He thinks it's so cool. Well, I'm hanging it in my home. So I did make it specifically for my home. Guess what this is? I can't hear you. Come on, just take a guess. What? No, I can't hear you. This is a tomato plant grower thing that goes this way and the 3 loops. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. It's the 3, you get in the garden section, it's green, it's got the tips on the end and on the top. So all I did was where you would have put the hoops through to make it the tower, because you know, it's a tomato tower, right? And then there's the 3 things and then the 3 hoops. So where it would have looped through, I painted black, all these parts that were green, and then just put a bead in between and twined it up. This is the faux leather ribbon. I need to tuck that down a little bit more. I just think it's really boho, I guess. Wouldn't you say it's boho, you guys? It's a really cool piece. It's just very cool. I think I need to move it's so hard. Now that I'm looking at it going, wait, that looks uneven, that looks uneven. No, but anyway, it's really cool. But what you'll see in the video is I had all this extra twine, like little pieces. You know, you do something, you end up with a little piece of twine or this, and I always save it. I'm like, I'm gonna do something. So I did. What I did was I just kept using my leftover pieces of twine, and so there's knots all over this, and I love it. Like, love it. It just gave it all this extra, I always use the word dimension. I don't have dementia, but there's dimension in my project. So I totally love how all the knots got incorporated into it, and I used up all that extra twine. So there's that. It's a good way to use up your extra twine. So I hope you really like that. And then this piece is my favorite. This actually sits on my coffee table so it was, you know, I made it for me. Booyah! It's very large too. So obviously right in the middle there, we have a styrofoam ball covered in twine. And then these are, again, I think I deconstructed a nautical rope to do this. So it's still twine, but you buy it as a nautical rope, but it's twine. And so these are the 3D wreath forms. And I just wrapped the bigger one, the smaller one, put the smaller one inside the bigger one, and then the ball inside of that. Can you see that? So it's like free, it's in there, inside. They're inside. Anyway, can you guys see that? It's a very cool piece. It sits on my coffee table, and like it's something everybody goes, that's so cool. And I go, I made that, thank you. All right, those are my 3 Twine It Up things. So I hope that works. I did this, I like really fast decided, well, I'm gonna do this. So I will probably do it again and hopefully come up with something different. And mostly I did it because I had made this and I was like, well, that's all twine. I should totally do the challenge. And so I did the rope one today, and this I had sitting on my table because I did this months ago, but it was before I had hardly any subscribers, so probably none of you have seen it. Well, especially if you're watching from the playlist. Okay, that's it, guys. I really hope you enjoy them. So next you're gonna see the video of how I made those. And if you ever have any questions, all you gotta do is comment. If you are new here and you're watching, please consider subscribing. I don't know, by the time this comes on, I might be at 750 subscribers. I was literally just gonna check that right now. But I have a bet going with my grandson, and he didn't think I could get to 750 by the time he came here to visit. And he comes to visit in like 5-6 days, I'm at 7:26, so I haven't gone anywhere yet this afternoon. Maybe now? Anyway, you guys, so just consider, like, because with the string you can tie a knot, but you gotta have something to tie it to, otherwise all you've got is a knot. Okay. Anyway, you guys, as always, from your singing crafty crafter, happy hunting at your local Dollar Tree. Have a great day, great week, a great life. Enjoy the rest of the video as I show you how I've made these projects. And that's it. I hope you come back again. Thank you so much. Thanks for visiting me here at Bella's Bargains. Enjoy. All right, so for this, I have nautical twine, the decorative nautical rope, I'm sorry. And, you know, it comes with the tape around the ends like this. And I have taken one and I've separated off one strand, okay? And I left one end taped. So what I'm gonna do right now is make a loop because we're gonna make a rope garland. So it's a decorative garland made out of the nautical rope and really nothing else. So it's just a lot of knotting basically. But when we start it, I'm separating that out. I'm looping like this, and then I'm going to wrap around and pull the end through, which it's kind of tedious because, you know, you keep doing that over and over. And then you just do it really tight, and then we repeat. It gets easier as the rope gets shorter. That's for sure. And this is kind of like a friendship bracelet knot, basically, is kind of what it's like. And it just gives the rope a really pretty pattern after you do quite a few of the knots. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. And you'll notice by doing this, when I made the loop, so now I've closed that end, right? So we have the loop for hanging it. We'll do something different when we get to the other end. And also I have one string here, but I might end up using another thing of twine. I won't know until I get this one done. And I'm also going to, for a while, use the single, and then I'll pull 2 ropes out and do the same thing. So I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm just gonna speed the video up a little bit so you can watch in a faster speed as I do my knotting on this. right, so I've used the single one and done some knotting down, which gives this really cool twisted effect. I love it. So now I've pulled another single out, and so now I have, these get twisted into each other, you guys, just to let you know, you have to be patient. So now what I have on my rope is the one that I was knotting with, then this is one I just pulled out, and then these two are still twisted together, the remaining two strands. So now I'm going to reverse this and I'm going to start knotting with the two onto these two, which one is the one that I was knotting with before and one that I separated. So now I'm switching what I'm knotting with, and that is the two strands that are still sort of twisted together from the original rope. Now what this is going to do is change basically the size of my knot, because we're twice as thick as we were, which will just make this a little more intricate looking as we're looking at it. And you have to be pretty taut about it. I mean, it takes, like I said, this does take some being patient, to say the least. So I'm gonna do quite a few knots with the double strand now. And it's really helpful if I had something that I could pull this on. It's just harder to show you on video when I do that. So one of the things that I will do is I'll take these two and take it down to the ground and step on them so that they're tight as I'm knotting. I hope all this makes sense, you guys. I really do. So I'm just getting it like, they really twist up together. This does take some patience, I'm not gonna lie. But once it's done, it's super cool looking. So there's that. All right, so now I'm gonna put that down and step on it on the floor. I'm stepping on it so that I can, this will, see now this is tight. Can you guys see that that's taut now? So now as I pull this through and knot it, I can pull pretty tight. And you can already see, do you see how this is already much bigger than that was? Which is really cool because it gives it just this whole nother dimension on this. I'm sticking with the same knot because it's just gonna keep twisting and twisting. But you could do a different knot on this and start a whole new pattern. It's just not what I wanted to do and what I was really looking for, the twist, just to keep going. So, and keeping it taut down there really, really, really helps with this. Okay, so see how we're still twisting on the big ones here. Hope you guys can see that okay. So, all right, I'm just gonna do some more knotting for a while. And then probably what I'll do is I will measure and try and get the same length of the knots of this size, and then go back to the single, so it'll be like thinner, then thicker, then thinner, just until I'm done with it, which I'm done when I run out of rope, or I can add on a whole another piece of the rope. Just depends on how long you would like your garland to be. So now I'm gonna speed it up. You guys can watch me not in high speed. So now that I'm down to, I was doing the double, and these are super short now. So I have this really long piece that has not been used yet, and I'm gonna double it. So all I'm gonna do is, I just pulled it, I put it in half, and now I'm gonna hold that end up here, but I'm gonna put it in with these three because now it'll just get tied in. So this becomes my foundation rope now. Oh gosh, I hope this makes sense, you guys. If it doesn't, I'm really sorry. Because all I'm trying to do is to continue my weave here with the two, right? So I had to get more rope, and I wanted to continue using the rope that I had. So I'm trying to make this as long as I possibly can with one rope. So I've gone, this was the single, this is double, this is single, and now I'm finishing up double, and then I'll end it with a single. Once I get this double long enough. And then we'll tie it off. Sometimes you have to like go back and re-pull because it'll get off kilter. But anyway. And when you're doing it like this and it's really short, it's kind of important to keep it like straight like that as you can while you pull it. Because you want your core to be the anchor, and so this is wrapping around your core. See that? I'm just hoping that these will hold out long enough to get me my length on the on the double knot. I'm hoping. And I'm being really careful to try and finish weaving in the end of when I looped back up, right? Those short ones right there. I want to keep them in until they're completely covered. It's going to take a couple more ties, it looks like. So I'm trying to be really careful of this one that I'm doing right now because that's pretty much the last of that extra tail. I'm trying to get it pretty tight around there. Sometimes it's easier said than done. Okay, there we go. So, all right, so this is single, this is double, this is single, and then this is double. So we're getting about, see that? We have approximately the same distance. And when I do it like this, you can see the difference, right? That's the single, that's double, single, double. So now I'm gonna go back to single. And the way I'm gonna do that is I have to cut this one that I looped amongst into itself. So I'm gonna cut it. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it, but I wanna leave long enough to get the same length. So I'm gonna do this to measure my length. So I'm gonna cut this not exactly in half. I just need it long enough to get the single knot length. So this is a single right here. gonna start knotting that. There we go. So basically now what I'm gonna do is knot until I run out of rope. And like I said, I'm only using one. They're 9.5 feet long. I only used one, but you could obviously add on another rope if you wanted to. If you were gonna do that, I would weave it in. So if I were gonna add another rope, I'd go right now and put it here and then knot it in and then start using its sections. So, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna do this one rope to show you for $1, this really cool piece of decorative rope that you can do, or twine, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So we're getting towards the end here. I'm gonna tie her off. I didn't get quite another section of the single that's it's not quite long enough. But it's okay. It's still pretty cool. So before I get too far down, this is like the end of it here. I'm gonna need to tie off and give myself a loop. So I'm just trying to get it maybe to where it's a little less messy with all these bits. Okay, so now I have like this one piece that's a little bit longer. So I'm going to knot it. Actually, I'm gonna twist what I have left here and knot so that I can get a good, let's see if I can get one more knot out of this, just to take care of those loose ends that are hanging right there. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my two longest pieces and I'm just gonna knot this off to hopefully keep it from unwinding it all. Okay. And then I'm gonna make my loop like this, and I'm gonna get some hot glue going and just glue that off. All right, so for this project, I have one of these tomato trellises, some faux leather ribbon, some beads. I think I'm gonna use some of these brown beads. And then this is just a pile of like leftover string, just like pieces that have been cut, you know, and what's left of them. Anyway, I'm going to use them all, and I'm gonna basically single strand them out and then just tie them together to make one a much longer piece. And then I'm gonna have the knots in my string as I wind it around, which will be fine. I'm gonna like that texture on there. So these are, the trellises are 3 different sizes, and basically I'm gonna wrap them all in twine, and then I'm going to lay them out and attach them to make a really interesting boho-ish wall hanging. So I have to unattach them from each other. And then I'm going to use the connectors that are on here as a way of connecting them. Anyway, so it's basically, I'm kind of, what it looks like right here is kind of what it's going to look like when I'm all done, pretty much. So, anyway, and you probably have to use some charcoal paint to paint the ends, all these plastic pieces on here. Actually, that's probably what I'll do first. So let's go. First, I have to disconnect these so I can slip them out of where they're being held in there, because I have to paint everything and then I have to wrap it and put the beads in between there, because I'm going to put beads in between each one of those. So I disconnect those, just use my needle nose and sort of pried open the metal thing that was keeping them together, and then took the chalk paint and painted all the ends and all of the middle sections where the loops went through, because those are going to be exposed. So just painted those up and then let them dry and started twining, I think, on the rings. So this is a pretty simple project, but it just takes a long time to get all the twining done. And then I start knotting together my rope. And this was a great way, though, to use up all the extra rope that I had. I will say that. Or twine, I mean, that I had. So I just start wrapping. There's a lot of wrapping that goes on. And whenever you do something like this, you just have to be careful that you're keeping it really tight and to make sure that you're closing all your gaps. So it's a nice, finished, completed project when you're all done. And then I just tied it off when I got to the end. And when I went to connect it, oh no, first I'm going to paint the centerpieces. The ends have dried. Now I'm going to go to the centerpieces and paint the rest of it. But you'll see when I go to connect them, I put a bead in between each one of the poles. So today I tried doing Mod Podge in paint, and that would have been a good mixture for here because it adheres better. But this is going to go on a wall, so nobody's going to play with it, so the paint should stay on. But it would scratch off pretty easily if I want to scratch it off. So then I start wrapping my poles, because I had to have the poles wrapped before I could attach my Twine It Up rings. And you'll see all the knots. The knots just keep showing up, and it looks really cool. I loved that, and I just kept using up old pieces of twine that I had, and nothing goes to waste around here. Not in this crafting household. So just a lot of twisting. Again, it's pretty tedious on the hands, but it looks really cool when it's done. Just put on a TV show and wrap, like a lot of wrapping. When I got to each end, I just knotted it off. That was it. I got all those poles done. They do look like arrows, don't they? And I did add a little hot glue just to secure it. I'm touching up my black paint there. But they look really cool. So now I'm going to attach the rings. And when I did it, I had to make sure that I had enough space in there to get the beads. So I unwrapped a little bit and then did a bead, pull, and then added on the beads and put some hot glue where I attached it, and it held up absolutely fine. And then just went back and finished up my weaving on the one on the rings. Oh, I put it on the wrong one, that's right. And you'll notice that I hot glued that last bead as it goes on, just to secure it onto there. So I just repeat this process a couple more times, obviously. And there's that hot glue, because the hot glue in the bead really attached the ring together. And then we do it one more time. And of course you could switch this up. Like I could have put more beads on there, I could have put beads on other parts of it, but I was really going for all that twine on there. I absolutely love how this looks. Something went wrong there, but don't ask me what, but I'm fixing it apparently. Oh, it was the
the ring wouldn't go back on that wire. So I cut a little bit to get it to work. And it did. There we go, got the bead over it, because I was trying to cover up the metal things that connect the round things. I don't know what they're called. What are they called? The hoops. That's what they're called, the hoops. Then I take a lighter and burn off all the frizzies and all that, and give it sort of a burned look. I really like the burned look on this. It helped a lot with what it looked like. And because I had all those knots, I had to keep blowing out little fires. So be careful. Don't do this at home. Just watch me do it. Don't do it at home. And then after I get done with that, I take my faux ribbon and just did some decorative stuff on here. This is just personal choice, however you want to do it. I think this piece it's really cool looking, very modern, but also almost Native American looking. It's a really cool piece. And of course I chose these 3 color ribbons because I just thought it was like, went from the dark to the lighter and the browns. And you notice as I'm weaving, I reversed the weave every new piece of that leather. So I just did the 3 colors. And then I didn't want to repeat the same thing on every hoop. So when I get to the next one, I switch it up and I just do a loop of each color on there. Cut it so I made sure my loops were the same size and just, glued them on there. Pretty simple. And then on the last one, again, I didn't want to repeat any of the patterns, so I just did half of it. Like I went in on the first one, and then next one I went to the second rod, and then on the third color I went down to the third rod. So just giving it 3 different patterns for the whole thing. And then that's it. This piece is done, and it's super cool, and it's all from a tomato trellis. A tomato trellis, people. I hope you really like it. I do. It's going to be hanging in my home.
Okay, I'm going to make a piece of decor using 1 styrofoam ball. This is the 2.8 inch. One of these, it's the 3D wreath form. This one is the 10 inch and this one is the 14 inch. Basically, I'm gonna wrap everything in string and it's gonna be a ball inside of a ball inside of a ball. But obviously not a completely enclosed ball. So, well, you'll see as we go. But using nautical rope, but in the nautical rope, I am going to unwind it so that I get the multiple pieces in this fashion. Hold on. Get that tape off of there. And I'm just gonna unwind it all like that. And then on the wreath forms, they have a, they come apart like this and then they come back together with, okay. I'm not gonna do that. I'm actually gonna wrap them and then I'm gonna put them together in my own way. Do you see what I'm doing, kind of? So it's gonna be a very geometrical, round display thing. And I'm hoping I can just bend these off here so that they're not there. All right. So I think I'll start with the ball. And first I'm gonna unwind my rope. And then I'll start wrapping is what I need to say. I'll start wrapping the, so if this won't break off, oh, it will though. Yeah, it'll bend up, it'll bend. Okay, so I'm just gonna bend this in and I can wrap it within the, I can wrap it in there. All right, so there you go, that's good. This shape, that's okay. All right, so first I'm gonna unwind my twine.
Of course, I start with the easy thing, which is wrapping the styrofoam ball. And that took nothing and it was done. And then I started separating my rope and twining all around the hoops. So it's pretty tedious, but it's pretty simple. You just go round and round and round and round and round. And then I made the thickness of what I was twining smaller on each of the different size hoops, so the larger one versus the smaller one. So just a lot of twirling, winding, wrapping those hoops. I think I watched a whole movie actually while I was wrapping these, so it took a lot of wrapping. But then once I had all of the hoops wrapped, then it was a matter of putting them all together, and then I just twined them at the joints so that they would stay together the way that I wanted. And see there, I have the small one done and the ball goes inside. And then I just moved that same process onto the big one, and then there it was. I had them all together, one inside the other. I didn't film a bunch of this, you guys, because it was just a bunch of wrapping the twine, but it came out really cool. Hope you like it. It sits on my coffee table, so obviously I like it.